So basically, the past 2 months have been very engaging for the Egyptian government. It was very, very important to restore macroeconomic stability, to be able to start a second wave of reforms related to structural reforms that focus on the green transition, private sector investment, state ownership policy, also increasing competition and competitiveness within the economy, and of course continuing on the macro fiscal resilience.
Given that these support programs are linked to certain structural reforms that have been brought in, how easy or challenging will it be to implement those given the current economic scenario?
Many of these measures, you'll find, for example, for the first time on the electricity sector, we have a B2B legislation that was passed. When we take a look at the competition law, an executive regulation that is going to be implemented to actually increase competitiveness. All of these are structural reforms that have to do with the infrastructure related to many of the important policies that would draw in private sector investments.
Now, of course, because of geopolitical reasons, the economy has also taken a hit because there is a war going on in Gaza. We have seen that two key sources of revenues for the government, whether it's the Suez Canal, where has been impacted revenues on that front because of the attack from the Houthis, or even tourism. How concerned are you about that?
So yes, there is very estimated or predicted impacts of geopolitical situation on the Suez Canal. As I mentioned, restoring macroeconomic stability meant that the repercussions of this shock have been internalized within the policy discussions and the policy framework that has been endorsed by the government. All of this to mitigate the impact of that externality on the domestic economy.
According to the World Bank, 60% of Egypt's population is living close or below the poverty line. Now, that's a big challenge. How are you planning to address that?
We have one of the most important social protection programs that the World Bank has, which is the Takaful and Karama. And it is a social protection or social safety net program designed for families and also tied to education of girls. So it's a very important program. The other is that the current budget, which was just discussed in Parliament, includes a very important segment related to social programs that would again mitigate the impact of many of these reforms on vulnerable